Hello everyone. It's Maddie with SpectrumArtCreations.com. And today we're going to be working on some amazing card fronts or panels if you want to use them for your journals. So we're going to be doing a video series. So it's going to be multiple videos, all in really small, nice bite size, so that you can watch one at a time, pause as needed, and of course resume when you're ready. Now, the class kit for these projects is sold out. I'm sorry. It sold out instantly, actually, within minutes. However, I don't want you to be discouraged if you couldn't get your hands on one of the kits, because you can use and apply the exact same techniques and measurements that we're going to be using other lines as well. So you can always come back to this video, even if you have a kit in the future, to continue to make additional cards. Now, the other advice I'm going to give you is if you are thinking, well, bummer, I didn't even get a chance at the kit. All of our kits usually sell out almost instantly. So the one advice I can give you is if you're not already subscribed, make sure that you subscribe. And also, please make sure that you ring that bell for notifications. So that way you can be notified every single time that we are live. And we upload new videos as well, or, we're going to be doing any kind of a show and tell or demo. Now, for this, we're going to first go through the materials. So I'm going to show you what we're going to be using, and then we're going to prep and show you what items we're going to need in order to be prepped. And then we're going to jump right into card number 1 or panel number 1. Now, also at the bottom of this video, in the description box down below, I am going to have a full playlist for you of the entire series, so you can just click on one video at a time and move on to the next one. Okay, and then to make it even easier, stay tuned till the end, because I'm also going to be linking the videos at the end, so don't go anywhere. Okay, are you guys ready? Let's jump right in. Let's first take a look at what we're going to be using today. So we're going to need a few things. Let's start with the left-hand side. Everyone has gotten a shared pack of the Katie Sue sentiments. So these are really neat. They don't look like very much, but they're actually clear stickers, if you would, and they're matte, which is even better. So if we, let me see if I can find, there we go, I see it now. If we find the corner, we can see that by peeling them, they are clear, okay? Yet they are matte, which is nice because they are not glossy. So you should have 4 of those pages. We're going to have plenty of leftovers, so do not worry. You're also going to have a full pack. I've just removed my plastic so that you do not have to get some glare here as I'm showing it off for you guys. This pack here includes, believe it or not, more than 700 individual elements. It is loaded. Once again, you're going to have plenty left over, and guess what? They are printed on both sides. So even when we are going to be folding our petals, you will be able to, have it look pretty from both sides. So you have tons and tons, and you'll have lots of leftovers, okay? No fussy cutting involved. Everything simply pops right out. Okay. Also, you've received a full pack of the 8x8 Fairy Tale Christmas from Katie Sue. This is also a double-sided paper pack. It is 190 GSM, measuring 8x8. You are going to get 3 of each of the sheets, and you also get a bonus. So on the back here, we're going to have some elements that we can fussy cut. We're going to be doing some slight fussy cutting. All of this obviously is ready to be punched out, so no fussy cutting there. But here, we're going to cut those apart. And then for this first set, well, I'll kind of walk you through what we need. But we do want to get to the pages. Oh, actually, let me show it to you, because some of you might not actually have this, and it is absolutely beautiful. You get 3 of those. Oh, wait, I'm sorry, 4 of each, not 3, 4 of each. My bad, I can't do math. The Nutcracker with the wonderful white text, a beautiful tea-dyed background. This one is gorgeous, like a vintage wallpaper with the mask and some great motifs and candlesticks. And then there's the back. We're going to cut one of these pages out, so we might as well leave that out as well. And then, love the little reindeer. He's wearing a blue sweater. No, not really. He's actually just shaded, but it does look like he's wearing a blue sweater. It's pretty cool. It's a great effect. And then this watercolor tree line, and then the back again, beautiful. And then we're going to need one of these. So let's go ahead and take one of those out while we're at it. And we can set everything off to the side. I am going to be using my awesome Totally Tiffany caddy, which I'm sure you guys have seen plenty of because I'm always using it. And if you have not, well, you're missing out because it will hold all of my goodies in one place vertically. So I'm not having to hunt down where my papers are at, and I'll be able to, of course, add all the materials and supplies that we're going to be needing right in here. Actually, I can even tuck that in there. And I even have another pocket back here. It's just full of pockets everywhere. But I'll be able to tuck all of this in here along with all of my, bone folders and anything else that I'm going to be using. And then if I need to stop at any point, all I have to do is leave it all here and then come back to it, or even take it wherever it is that I want to take it, like upstairs or to another room. And I do have the carry bag. You can purchase the carry bag separate, and this will fit right into that bag and give you even more storage also to add more things, so you can take it to a doctor's appointment, or maybe if you're going to the coffee shop to go craft, or whatever the case may be. So anywho, we're going to start by cutting some of these out. So let's go ahead and take a pause. Let me put this back here. Let's take a pause. Let's go ahead and cut these out. These are pretty simple, straightforward, just straight lines. You can even use your paper trimmer, which is part of your supply list. Okay, don't worry about the other side. It is gorgeous, but remember, we have 4 of each, so we have plenty. And then, of course, these we're just going to take our time fussy cutting, or you can fussy tear them. If you are not comfortable with fussy cutting, you can just go around and tear them. And then that would look really nice, like a feather jacket look as well. Okay. All right. We'll be back. Okay. The ephemera is all cut. We've got all of the really pretty cut aparts. Again, I left a white border all the way around, which makes it that much easier to cut because you don't have to worry so much about the little details. Another thing that I do sometimes, if it's a little too elaborate, I just cut off the little extra pieces just to kind of make it a little easier for myself. Again, none the wiser, right? They still look super beautiful. And oh, even the little cup there. And then we've got the journaling cards in both sizes, the larger and the smaller, as well as that beautiful little trim that was included at the bottom. Okay, with that done, we're going to move on to our next step, which is going to be to get us a card base. Let me get a white cardstock. Again, just a plain piece of white cardstock. We are going to cut this to 6 inches tall by 8 inches wide. Okay, so we're going to do 8 because I'm going to cut it this way so I can save the bigger piece for later. So I'm going to cut 8 inches, removing that strip. And then we're going to trim this to 6 inches. And that's going to give us our height. So that's going to give us a 4 by 6 card, right? Once we fold it in half, we're going to save this piece. Don't throw it away. Don't get rid of it. We are going to fold this in half. You could also use your scoreboard if you like, but I simply line up my corners and then I walk it back. We'll use the ergonomic bone folder, and we're going to burnish that down. And we now have our first card base. Okay, we have our ephemera cut as well, so we're going to set that off to the side for now and move on to our next step. From our paper pad, that we are going to find this page right here, which has got the reindeer, okay, and the trees. We're going to take this card and we're going to trim this. And again, how much of a border you decide that you want to have, that's going to be completely up to you. We know that our width is 4, so we want to be shy. I'm going to go just 1/8 of an inch under and show you what that looks like. If you want a wider white border, then you would obviously trim, you know, and like maybe a 3 3/4. I'm going to do the same thing from the other side. We know that it is a 6-inch card, so I'm simply going to come up to 5 7/8. Again, just trimming off that half. And you could decide, you know, again, once you look at mine, whether you want to do this a little wider, but we're aiming for those little berries here at the top. And you can see my border is just 1/8 of an inch all the way around. And again, that helps us to save this right here. Again, we're not getting rid of anything. So make sure you guys save those, okay? Okay, now from our pack, we're going to choose one of the larger journaling cards. You can decide which one you think looks beautiful. Like, look at that bell. I love that. Of course, we can pick any of these. Remember, we have multiples. So pick your favorite. I think that looks absolutely stunning, that one. That and the bell are probably my 2 favorites. I think anything with that light tan border is going to look awesome. Now, if you notice, when I cut mine, I did leave that extra white space on the sides. If you didn't do that, it is no worries. I just leave it and then I look at it. And if I decide it brings something to the table, like a double mat here, it almost looks like I have a white mat here and a white mat here, I leave it. If I think, nope, that doesn't work for me at all, then I just simply trim it off. So I always leave myself that option when I'm doing my cuts. You don't have to. Okay. So we have now selected also what our journaling card is going to be. If you want to distress, whether it's paper distressing or ink up any of your edges, you most certainly can. So the paper distresser, which we have in store, of course, is an awesome way to simply rough up your edges and give it a more like rustic, dimensional look. Okay, by simply filing away at those edges. And you can file a little bit more in some areas than other. Leave the little fuzzies there because they just look amazing. Now you can do this with the with your scissors, with the edge of your scissors, but be very careful because you might actually overcut your paper. You might actually also cut your fingers. How do I know this? Because I've done it. I missed one time and sliced my finger. So please be very careful, okay? If you're doing that, and we can do that to this one as well. And you can also do a combination of both. You can use your paper distresser and then you can ink up, and that looks really nice too. Excuse me. One other tip. Oh, I got a tickle. 1 second. One other tip for you is to also, when you have a lot of like really nice space like this one does, I'll show you what's another thing you can do. Okay, just clean those off of there. Okay, so now we've got this for our card, and as you can see, I have a lot of nice space here. So if you want to, you can also come in either with your nails or with your scissor and kind of, again, be very careful. Kind of, see what I'm doing? I'm kind of slicing. I'm slicing into it. And then just take that little tear and rough it up just a smidge, like so. Just kind of bend it back. And that's going to give, again, your card more of that really cool vintage look as well, right? Where it almost looks like it's been loved, and maybe it belongs in some kind of a um, like, you know, historical document, right? So you can rough those up and fold them up just a little bit if you like, but be very, very careful when you're doing that. Also, we're going to pick now our flowers. So let's get to the super fun part of this project. I'm going to set this off to the side, and we're going to bring in our beautiful flowers. And for this part, what we're going to do is we're going to come right down here. You can mix and match these any which way you'd like. But in this case, we're going to go with these down here. So the easiest way, they come out really super easy, guys, but the easiest way that I found not to tear is to push down on them, okay? So I'm simply pushing down on the petals, going all the way around, taking my time. And once you do like a few of these, you'll be very, very confident in what you're doing. So don't overstress it. Just kind of press down. Again, keep going around, making sure you just don't fight anything. So I'm going to pick 2 of the bigger ones. I'm going to pick 2 of the smaller ones. Okay. Also some of these right here. And the nice thing about these is, I'm sorry guys, I think that they're working on something behind me, hopefully. It's not too loud. You have lots of beautiful centers to pick as well to work with. So you'll see just how beautiful these can be. Now, you can make these dimensional or not. That's totally up to you. Right, with those popped out, then I can work on my centers. So I'm going to pick one of these. And sometimes with these little ones, you can actually use your bone folder or your tool, anything that's kind of got a finer tip, and just again take your time. If you notice, I kind of push and I push, and then I kind of go around and round until I feel that okay, that's going to get freed. So there's that one. And then you know what, let's pick maybe a, how about, any of them will look gorgeous. Let's pick this one right down here. It's got a little bit of that teal color or greenish color, which I think would look really nice with some of the elements that we have here that have some green to them. Again, you mix and match any way that you see fit. And again, the more you make, the more comfortable you're going to get, and the more it's going to all make sense. Okay, so we're going to take this off to the side. And we can, of course, use our paper forming. Let me find mine. Actually, it's in my other one. Let me go get my paper forming and I will be right back. Okay, here we go. So this is, in case you're not familiar with it, the SACsShipping paper sculpting kit. It comes in a case and we have it in store if you are on the market for one of these. But it comes with all of the following tools. It comes with your fine tip, fussy cutting scissors. Okay. It also comes with tweezers, and these are the tension tweezers. So rather than you holding the tweezer and getting a hand cramp, you can just pick up your papers and then just simply have the tension from the tweezer hold your paper so you can do whatever it is that you want to do and not have to be holding it with pressure. And you saw that they're very fine tips, so it's really handy for coming in and picking up the smallest details. If you're like me that struggles with picking up things off the table, this is also another great tool to have. It does have a protector cap as well. And they are rounded. They are not regular flat tweezers. They are rounded. And the reason for that is to allow you to be able to curl your paper without having bends into it. Okay, so then you get your stylus tools. You have 3 different sizes of balls, depending on how big your project is or your petals or whatever it is, even clay that you're trying to give dimension to. You have your large, your medium, and your small. And they do tell you the size. Let me put them in order. Again, you might not be familiar with this kit, so I want to make sure I really show you what it comes with. Now, where was I? Sorry. Oh, and then this end too. But more importantly, there are 2 here that you're going to notice that are a bit different, right? See those? So this one is really good for giving paper veins and shapes, and of course being able to also carve out things if you need to. And then this is your paper quilling tool. Okay, so you insert your paper and then you're able to turn it and be able to create your little quilling. Okay, and then it comes with 2 mats, the large detail mat and then the small detail mat. So depending on what you're working with, you could use both really, but this one obviously, as you can see, allows you to put a whole lot of pressure, like for bigger pieces, without ripping your paper. This is the magic to this, right? And then this one is for smaller items. And you can see it's much, much thinner too, but you could use either or. So let me put this off to the side. And we are going to get, I'll use this one because I think it's a little smaller for on screen. I'm just going to leave these here off to the side. And what we're going to do is we're going to grab our flowers. Now this step is totally optional. You do not need to give these dimension. They will look beautiful just layered up the way that they come. Okay. And of course you can add additional petals if you want. You can make it as dimensional as you want by adding additional petals, and then of course your centers, but you can also give them some shape. So for example, grabbing this one right here, I am going to use my tool. I'm going to do 2 things. I'm going to come in with the fine tip and I'm going to give it a center vein. Okay, using my finest, I'll just turn the whole mat. So I'm kind of creating that fold. You can see the leaf kind of lifting off of the mat. When I do this, it just forces the paper to curl, right? Then we're going to flip it over and we're going to use the medium one, and we're going to go ahead and just kind of bring up that center by simply rolling it. And then I can even add a little bit more if I want to and then I'll bring it up and show you. And this is the plain white one. But hopefully, see, you can see how now it has veins. If you wanted to add additional veins, don't forget, you also have this tool right here. But we really don't need to because we're going to layer it up and it's going to look amazing. Okay, same thing. I'm going to use my medium and I'm going to give it some curl. If I want to, again, curl back my leaves all I have to do is simply roll and release, and we're going to create that little bit of a curl on there and release again. So you can have a whole lot of fun. And these are, there's so many in the pack that you can sit there watching TV and just make the most beautiful flowers and then have them all set and ready to go for your projects. Because you have plenty of them, right? So we could do that with our first layer. We can do the same thing here with this one as well. We can go ahead and use our tweezers and just give it a little curl as something extra. Again, oops, my hand got stuck on there. Just giving it some dimension. You can also do this with your tool too if you want. You can come in, oops, sorry, the other way. You can come in and just kind of work on that leaf and give it a little bit of bend. And then if you want, do it this way too, right? So there's a lot of ways to do this, but it takes a couple of seconds and it sure is fun to play with. But I wanted to show you. Let's see, we have a medium. Let's go with a small layer here. Again, I'm gonna roll it up, give it dimension. Sometimes for the smaller ones, it's really nice. See, that's the only problem when you do with your finger. See that bend? If you curl it with your tweezer, you won't get that bend. Because again, these are rounded. So they're meant for that purpose so that it doesn't happen. See the difference? How it just, I already had the bend on there. So I'll do the one that has not been bent, this one, by hand, and I'll show you. The difference when you release is that it is perfectly rounded. You can unfurl it if you want, see? But you're not going to get that crease that I got here by using my nail. So, advantages and disadvantages. Just kind of want to show you that if you want a more professional finish, a cleaner finish, you can do it that way too. All right, let's go ahead and get our glue. We can start adding adhesive to the center here. And what we're going to do is we're going to stagger it so that it's not facing the same way. Go. Then we're going to do it again. Again, I'm going to stagger. Oh, stagger. And then press down on it. Oh, look how pretty that's starting to look. I think we can even stop right there. I really don't think that we need more, especially if you're giving a dimension with your, your SACsShipping paper sculpting kit. You don't need to add much more than that. We can add this to the center. Again, we can curl it if we want. You know what? Let's use our mat because this is kind of small. I'm going to bring in the smallest of my ball stylus and just see how it creates. It creates like a little lift off. Uh-oh. There we go again. Me chasing stuff with my fingers, right? And I'm going to do the same thing for this one too. Just to give it dimension. Oh, look how pretty that looks. Okay, we're going to add a little bit of glue. Going to bring in that bigger one. That's the one with the teal. Right about there. And then we're going to bring in this next one. And add more to that center. Like so. Love it. Absolutely beautiful flower. Look at that. Gorgeous, isn't it? And I love those little strings, actually. I hadn't even noticed them, but I love them. I hope they don't fall off because they're gorgeous. Okay, we have a beautiful dimensional flower. Now we need some greenery too, so let's go ahead and get that. I'm gonna leave that there because we're gonna use it. Okay, now we're gonna bring, like I said, back the greenery. Okay, and we're going to look for some pretty leaves. Let me look how many flowers you've got, right? So much fun. Let's go ahead and go with these larger ones since we're just warming up and getting started. Let's find that large one and maybe this medium one. And then let's also grab one of these right here. And I'm thinking maybe this one down here. Again, if you are struggling with it, use your tools to help you pop them out. Tools can make our lives so much easier, right? Well, that's why they're invented. So that we do not struggle. So that we enjoy what we do versus... And again, if you tear one of these, it's no big deal because we're going to end up tucking bits and pieces here and there off of it. One more attached. There we go. So even if it tears, oh, this one's so pretty too. Look at that one. That one is gorgeous. So use whichever one's your favorite. How's that? Feel free to mix and match. Okay, now we're going to bring this all back and we are going to put it together. Okay, this first one is a quick make. So we're going to start with this. Use your tape runner, your liquid adhesive, your adhesive of choice. Tape runners are usually much faster, and we do have the hunky-dory permanent as well as the repositionable. We also have the scrapbook adhesive ones, and they are fabulous too. So we have quite a few different brands that we carry that I am sure you would love. You know what? Let's get some dimensional foam on here. Where'd it go? There we go. For this, I'm going to use my roll versus my squares, just because it's a larger piece and it's just easier to lay out larger pieces much faster, as you can see. So I love having all kinds of different ones. I love my squares for smaller projects. I like my definitely the skinny ones, the hunky-dory ones, because I use those a lot for branches and whatnot. But by all means, and for shakers. So there's a lot of reasons, but I also love the big roll because it is, and we have it in white and we have it in black in store. As you can see, it makes a project go by really, really quickly. And then using my hook tool, I'm going to be removing the backs. The rolls are more economical. Uh, Financially, they're just a better price because obviously they're not having to cut a bunch of little individual squares and package them. So for that reason, it is great. And for bigger projects. But yes, definitely need other sizes as well. Because again, the right tool for the right job, such as this hook tool. I struggle a lot with my fingers, and for those of you who have been here long enough, you know I cannot live without my hook tools because they just make grabbing all of these little things from the back super easy. All right, we're going to center that. I'm going to try and do this while being on screen. Again, I want to be able to see all my pretty little berries up there. And I'm going to try and get my left and my right centered. Does that look center and straight? I think I'm a little crooked. Hang on. This stuff is potent, so. All right. There we go. Beautiful. Perfect. Okay, now we're going to use that lift to our advantage by, number one, inserting our beautiful flower here. However, obviously this side is higher, so we are going to need some kind of dimensional on this side. Again, this is where my smaller squares come in handy. So I have many different sizes in my stash because the right one for the right job makes it go that much quicker, right? So for this case, I think we're going to go with some smaller ones here. We're going to be also putting one in the center. So just kind of look at your flower and decide, because yours might be a little lower, a little higher. We are going to be adding a sentiment down here. I think I need one more. Just make sure. Yep, this one right here. Okay, with those in place, we're going to remove the backing. And this is going to go right on this corner. Again, I'm being very deliberate and careful to ensure that I'm not extending past the card so that it can definitely fit inside of the envelope. Okay, and now we're going to tuck in some of these super awesome greeneries. So for example here, we can tuck this and you can trim it down. This is what I was saying, that even if it splits on you, it's going to be okay, because you know what? Since I have the kit out, might as well use the scissors, right? Just kind of keep it all to the kit. You can cut those to maximize them and stick that on there. See? Again, we can also give this dimension. We have our dimension tool, so we might as well bring them out to play. Let me go ahead and I should, you know what, for the sake of this, I'm going to empty out this cup real quick. Again, I'm a firm believer in keeping things that I need handy. Oh, sure what I dropped. So I'm just going to use my cup for the immediate tools that I'm going to be using all night long. I'm going to keep my cap so I don't lose it. Same thing with this one here. And now we're going to find our vein tool. So great way to add, again, veins to your leaves by simply bringing this in and creating some texture on there. And then we're going to bring in, oh, I had it in my hand, didn't I? The smaller one, and we're going to just kind of give those, no, a little bigger. We're going to give this leaf some dimension by curling it in. Perfect. And then I do want to see about curling some of these back. Rough them up. Make it look like an actual leaf. Leaves are not flat. They're not perfect. We're going to give it some crunch, some body. Add some glue. And then we're going to tuck that in here on this bottom side corner. Very pretty. Again, make sure that you are within the card. Again, here we go. Perfect. Within your card. And then we're going to do the exact same thing. Again, we can use this other half. I need two. Yeah, I don't think we're going to need this one. I think I'm going to save this one. I'm going to get another cup. And I'm going to start leaving in here all the other things that, you know, we can use. All right, let's go ahead and give this again some dimension. Okay. And then let's go ahead and rough it up some. Let's crunch it. There we go. We have a cool leaf now. We're going to add some adhesive to that backing. And we're going to tuck this one in on this side. I want to have a little bit of that green overlapping on top of my mat up here. Something like this. And then we're going to grab this. So remember when I told you if it breaks, you'll be okay? Actually, we're going to do it deliberately. We're going to snap off that piece at the top. We're going to add some adhesive here using our precision glue press, which again, we also carry those in store. And we're just going to tuck this baby right up there. If you want to make sure you're getting in there, go ahead and use your tool and just kind of make sure that you're adhered, but still within your card height, okay? Like so. And we have our first card with the exception of our sentiment. Now, if you are watching this through the academy, or you, excuse me, if you're an academy member, then you would have received some free sentiments that I created for you guys. So we can go ahead and grab one of those now, and we can go ahead and adhere it. So let me go ahead and get those really quick. I've printed them onto cardstock in case you're wondering how I printed mine, and I'm going to show you actually how we're going to punch them out. So let's take a pause on this card, put it off to the side. I'm going to show you how to get the best way to actually cut out your sentiments, because I designed them to come out very easily with just a punch. So let me go ahead and get that for you. Okay, so here is the free digital, excuse me, that I provided for Academy members. So whether you're a student level or VIP, you would be eligible to receive this. Now, if you're not in the Academy, well, I have to ask you, what are you waiting for? It is the best investment. It is loaded with classes and freebies and just all kinds of fun stuff. So you definitely want to be part of the Academy. If you're not sure how to join the Academy, it's right here on YouTube. You don't have to go anywhere special. But if you're not sure on how to join, then just let us know in chat. Okay, we're gonna cut off the bottom, and we're gonna set that off to the side, okay? Now what I want you to do instead is I want you to grab yourself a punch. I'm gonna be using a 1 3/4, but you could also use your nesting dies. I have designed this to fit either one. And what we're going to do is we're going to bring this in. See that? We're going to center it, and we're going to punch. There's our first one. Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Then we're going to do Be Merry and Bright. I hope you like these. Are fun. And of course, you can print them over and over again. Let it snow. Then we're going to cut this off here at the top so it's not in our way. You can freehand these. I mean, I'm just showing you how I designed them to fit punches or dies, but that's why they're nicely spaced out. However, you can go ahead and free cut these. You can, trace something around them if you don't have a punch. You can, if you feel like you have a little too much room at the top, which I don't mind because I could add an eyelet. So I'm actually going to leave that extra space. If I don't want that much white at the top, I'm just going to use my scissor and trim a little piece here, a sliver, and that will allow me to push my punch in further, right? But as I mentioned, I like it because I like options. I can add some brads or whatever. Believe in the magic of Christmas. Indeed, right? Punch that out. Trim that off. 'Tis the season to be jolly. This one I am going to bring in just a little bit because that little tail there at the bottom for jolly is just a little too close for comfort. There we go. Much better. Jingle all the way. See how they fit perfect? Yes, I worked it out until I got it just right for you guys. Again, we're going to trim off that top. If you're using your die cutting, your nesting dies, we have beautiful nesting dies that start like really small and then they just keep going bigger. So you have a huge variety, and financially they are amazingly priced. So if you are looking for nesting dies, just know that we have some wonderful ones in stock. Oh, sorry, I almost did the wrong thing. This is the last one that's going to go with the round punch. The rest you can cut as a rectangle. It just so happens that I have this, and you might have some other die, and this fits perfect for these. So I'm just going to center this, try to make sure I'm straight, and punch. That's going to free that one. Then, oh, then we need to cut this here. At least for me. Yours might be different. Again, remember this die, I mean, sorry, this punch cuts out two other ones. So whether you want to or not, it's going to punch the top and the bottom too. So I have to separate mine so I don't chop off the one above it. About there. See how it ends up cutting out. It's adorable, but it's kind of a, it kind of cuts more than you want it to sometimes. And again, you could just use your paper trimmer and cut these, you know, as straight cuts. Got that. And then we're going to cut these last two. I'm just going to cut that off to get it out of my way. Winter Magic and ho ho ho. I like to kind of position it and then kind of close it to pinch. Make sure I'm straight. And then when I'm ready, I punch. Okay, that's it. That's it. Look how easy we got all of those done. So now these are all ready to go. We've got all those. We've got all of these. And now we're going to finish it off by cutting these small ones. Again, feel free to use your paper trimmer if you like. I'm probably going to be faster with scissors, so I'm just going to cut across. They're pretty easy. Pretty easy, right? And I made them all white. I was going to make them in like blues and stuff like that because I figure, okay, I designed this to go with this collection, right? With this project that we're doing. And then I realized, well, that's kind of silly because, you could use these for anything year after year. So if you wanted to, you can do them red, if maybe you're doing some cards that have red, or pink if you're doing a pink Christmas, or whatever, tie-dyed, I don't know, whatever you want to do with them. They are a blank slate for you to coordinate them with anything you want, right? You can even do some cool embossing or some foiling. Oh, that's kind of cool. Oh, I like that idea. We can even do some glazes because glazes will be tinted, right? They're translucent, but they are tinted, which means that I can give it a little bit of a bluish hue, but still keep it, you know, fully visible. So I can still read it and have it be like a cool enamel kind of glass looking ornament or little placard. I like that idea, guys. I can't wait to see what else you guys come up with. I would love to hear your ideas. This is when I wish we were live so you guys can shout out your ideas because you're always full of amazing ideas. Yeah? Okay, we're done. We are done. Again, I hope you enjoy it year after year. Let me get yet another. I guess I'll get a smaller one. Yeah, maybe this size would be good. Another little cup, and we're going to drop all of our sentiments in there. Before we do that, also, we could have decided on which one we wanted. So let's bring our card back. We're going to put that away here in a second because we have no more use for it. And we can decide, do we want to do something like Winter Magic, right? We can use some dimensional foam. We can also do something a little slimmer. like these, peace and joy, totally adorable. We can even balance this out by bringing something to this corner, right? So again, the choice is totally yours. And how you decide to color it, you can use your inks, you can use sprays, you can use, as we mentioned, some glazes. Sky's the limit on what you want to use on these. You can use your crayons, you can use your Tim Holtz pencils, you could use anything, you know. I think sprays would be fun. Magicals would be amazing, right? Because we have that whole kind of like beautiful background here. See, that almost reminds me of magicals here too, or some water colors. So you guys pick, you decide. No matter what you pick, it's going to be great. I'm going to pick, how about Peace on Earth? That sounds good. So Peace on Earth it is. And we're going to place this down here. Again, I'm going to go towards that end to kind of create that diagonal flow, right? So that I can travel throughout our card. And then I'm just going to decide that I think for this one, let's go ahead and try the glazes. So let me go get those and I'll be right back. You guys pick whatever it is that you want to use, or if you like it just the way it is, you can leave it the way it is. You can do the smushing technique too. If you've used a laser jet, remember, run with water. Okay, so you don't want to do that with an inkjet if that's what you use to print, because the ink will run. If you use a laser jet, well, the sky's the limit. You can do whatever you want. So just be mindful of whatever ink you've used to print on, okay? That's going to dictate what you can use. But everything else, you know, and again, it's a digital. You can print it as many times as you like and try different techniques and see what you enjoy. I'm going to go get some glazes. I'll be right back. Okay, here are some glazes. We're going to need a scratch piece of paper. I'm just going to show you this really quick because some of you might not have seen this before. So we might as well, and you guys are doing your own techniques maybe. Going to use the dabber. I'm going to, and again, I have videos on the channel on working with glazes. So there are plenty of tutorials already available on the channel that you can definitely go back and watch and enjoy. I'm just kind of picking through my colors because I think a blue tint would be kind of cool. Of course, we could also do like a, you know, this one is antique linen, so we could do something like that, a more muted color. We can mix them, by the way. But you know, you can actually mix your glazes. I think that's a little too dark. We could also do clear, but I want to do a tint. I think those are good options. We can even go a little bit more, you know, yellowish kind of a color, or more of that frame. Oh, that's kind of pretty too. So many choices, right? That's the problem sometimes. Too many choices. I just found another blue. Okay, let's see. Let's see. I think this is too dark or too bright. I think this one is too. Um, that's not bad. That's really pretty. I think that's too bright. I want to see more of that vintage hue kind of color. I think that's really pretty. Okay, so there's a lot of great choices, guys. That's the bottom line. That is the bottom line. And again, you know, I can do them in every color and then decide which one do I like best. I can just keep printing and playing as much as I want. All right, we're going to say, we're going to go with, gosh, that is hard. I think one of those two. Although this would have created some nice contrast because it's bringing more of that greenish yellow. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. I changed my mind. Got to make an executive decision at one point, right? All right, we're going to, I don't have my little, where's my small glass mat? I don't know. So instead we're going to use the SACs palette. Here we go. This is the Spectrum Art Creations color paint palette. It is totally handy. It goes everywhere. Yes, I haven't cleaned the other side. That's okay. We're simply going to apply our medium directly onto the paper. I'm going to slide that off. And we're going to add our embossing glaze directly right onto it. Okay. I need to pick that up. I need my other one, this one. This is a little small to work with, but that's okay. We can do this. I'm gonna give it a tap. Ooh, that's gonna look good. Okay. Now, this is gonna be a little bit difficult to heat set. So I'm gonna choose a corner that I'm going to, actually this corner already doesn't have a whole lot of color, which is fine. I don't have to cover the whole thing if I don't want to. If I do, I can. I'm gonna move that off to the side for now. We're gonna bring in our heated tool and we're going to heat set this. It's gonna want to curl on us, but we'll fix it, don't worry. There it goes. And done. So as you can see now, it's got that beautiful finish to it, right? Love it. It's not fully covered. It doesn't need to be. I think it actually looks even better because it kind of matches that speckling that's already on here. So again, let me bring it up now that it's dry. See, there's some places there where it's got a muddle look to it. Right here too. And I love that. If I wanted to add another coat, I can simply come back in and add yet another coat. But I don't think it's necessary at all. We're going to put all that back in the jar. So we've used a tiny, tiny amount of product. Like barely anything. And now we have a really pretty finish. Again, you could use anything you have at hand. All right, and with that said, I'm going to pick up just a little bit. I'm going to simply adhere my sentiment on. Oh, I could use a, I could have used a dimensional. It's fine. We could have used some dimensional, but I think we are good. So let's just go ahead and adhere this down here. Just like so. And there we have our first card. Again, super quick, beautiful though, dimensional, lots of great, dimension to it, and a beautiful look, very clean. Now, we can come back and add more. We can bring in our stickles, right? And we can add little bits. We can even, while we have the embossing, we can even emboss the little berries if we wanted to. I also have, do I have my Wink of a Stella brushes? Where's that piece of paper I just had? It's kind of hard to see on camera, isn't it? Let me, which color was this? This one was the sparkle. Oh, there, maybe. Oh, no, you guys can't see it. Let me put some more on there. Maybe it'll show. Let's let it see it. This is a very thin piece of paper, but let's see if you can see the sparkle. Nope, not at all. Well, when it dries, it has a beautiful sparkle. So we can do some sparkle on the leaves. We can use stickles as well. And don't forget, we can also use our Nouveau drops. So there's all kinds of stuff that we can do. We can even use our glaze pens because those are great. For the white, let me find it. This is my glaze, yes. So you can use your glaze pen. Just give it a shake because it's been sitting for a while. And come in and do the little tips here of the pine cone. It's already white, so I'm just giving you some tips here. But it will add also that embossed look to it without the need to heat emboss and in a matter of just seconds. Okay, so that really gets into those really fine areas. When I'm done, I'll bring it up. So I'm going to continue to play. I'm just going to get maybe some stickles or some other stuff, and then just add little tiny details here and there. You can also do some splatters. Don't forget, you should all hopefully have your Spectrum Noir acrylic pens. This is my Pick pen. And we can do even some gold splatters would look amazing on this, right? So we can simply add those by, let me go ahead and shake my pen. I do not have my vortex plugged in, so I have to do this manually. Okay, there we go. There goes the ball bearing. So I'm just going to give you some tips kind of on this card, and then the rest we're just going to kind of fly through it. I'm just showing you that you have all kinds of products in your arsenal that you might have forgotten, and now you're being reminded, or you might be looking at these for the first time, and now you're like, oh, I don't have that, and I definitely need that. Well, they're here. We have them in store. If there's ever something you cannot find in our store, all you have to do is ask, right? Simply send me an email, and I will be happy to. If I don't have it in stock, then I will be happy to bring it in for you. Let me try and cover that ring light. Make sure I'm on screen. There we go. Give it a good shake. You're going to prime this really quick just to make sure that your nib is nice and juicy. The juicier the nib, by the way, the more splatters you're going to get. So if you want small splatters, you could probably just, and again, all I'm doing is tapping. Nope, it's still not wet. Let's make sure it's wet. Nope, hang on. I always like to go a little bit at a time because then all of a sudden it gets pretty juicy, and then it just kind of starts to overflow. Now, once you're using it all night, it's going to go much quicker. But until then, until you prime it, it's going to take this a little bit. There we go. All right, there we go. And now we have some really super pretty gold splatters. If there's something that you want to matte, you can always matte it. If there's something that you want to wipe, especially if you've done like I did here, the embossing glaze, you can just wipe it off, which is cool as well. But there we go. We have a beautiful card now done. Again, I might come back in with some stickles and just kind of play with that. That is prime for the rest of the night. I'm going to wipe this down, bring in my stickles, and maybe add some of those or some liquid pearls. Not sure yet. I'll be right back. Okay, so here is the card. Now, mind you, it is still wet. It is still drying. So I will kind of show it to you, but then I'll explain to you what I've done, and then I'm going to set it off to the side, and we will come back at the end and maybe do some still photos once it's had time to dry overnight. But we did the splatters. That was the last thing we did. Then I came back in. I played with some of my Nuvo. I have the crystal drops. I have the jewel drops. I have some of the vintage drops. So I played with some of those, and again added some texture to the berries. Once they dry, they're going to be translucent. I used a glaze pen and did the pine cones, right? Kind of touch those tips. Again, I'll do some still photos as well as some of the candle little lines with that, creating that embossed look. I've also added some to the flame. I don't know if you can see it, but I've got some crystal drops on the flames. And then up here, Up here, I've added some of the, oh, I wish this thing would focus. Again, I'll do still photos. Up here, I've added some of the micro beads from Finnabar that we carry. We carry all kinds of different micro beads in store. That is one of the sets, which I don't think it's being made anymore, but I think we have the individual jars. So take a look in the online store if you are interested. Um, I think that is all that I have done. I did have one other thing that I wanted to do. Since it's going to dry overnight, I might as well just go ahead and do it. Let me get that, and that is the liquid pearls. Again, this is just fun. You might have some of this, you might have none of it. So just work with what you've got. I'm going to use my palette. Actually, I'm going to use the dirty side since I got to clean it anyway. To burp my bottle. Again, I always recommend that you burp your bottles. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a faux brad on this side and a faux brad on this side as well. So when it is done, it's going to look like it is being held in place by two little mini brads on either side, and it'll have dimension, okay? So again, these are some of the tools that I'm going to kind of keep playing with as we progress on this card series. So if you have some, great. If you need anything from the Nuvos to the liquid pearls to the Spectrum Noir acrylic pens to your glass beads to the glaze pens to the tool sets, anything that you need, of course, feel free to ask. But I'm going to set this off to the side and we're going to let it dry overnight, and I'm going to move on to the next card. I hope you had fun. I hope you have enjoyed it and that you have crafted along, because I'm sure it's going to turn out great. Don't forget to leave a comment down below because we are doing giveaways on all of our videos. As soon as it reaches 20 comments, then the gift cards will start flowing. So yes, definitely comment, like, and of course, we'd appreciate a share. I also like to remind you that all of the items that you've seen here are available in our online stores. We have two stores to serve you, spectrumartcreations.com and also on Etsy, Spectrum Art Creations. And both stores have different items, so you want to check out both for sure. And then of course that you also join us here on this channel on YouTube for our live weekly sales. Sometimes we go multiple times a week, whether it's craft alongs, whether it's tutorials, whether it's live classes, or to do sales as well. And those are a whole lot of fun because you get to see the product live, you get to shop live, you get to, of course, chat live, and then enter in all the games and giveaways. You shop from the comfort of home, and in a matter of days, the package will be at your doorstep with all of the goodies ready for you to craft. Now, if you are on Facebook, make sure you check out and join our Facebook group. It is Spectrum Art Creation Friends. Don't forget the friends at the end. And also, when you're requesting to join, make sure that you answer the questions. That is very important because otherwise your membership is not going to be approved. The assistant actually just removes anything that is not that does not have the questions answered. So definitely please answer them. And in the Facebook group, you're going to find lots more information, lots of challenges, and even more gift card giveaways. So you definitely want to be in the Facebook group as well. If you haven't already done so, please make sure that you subscribe and ring that bell so that you can be notified of when we are live. Well, why? Well, because I've already mentioned we always do tutorials, we do live sales, we do classes, craft along, product alerts, giveaways, challenges, you name it. And of course, you get to be part of an amazing community and make tons of new friends. Now, I'm going to leave the next video here for you so that you can go ahead and just click on the link, hop on over, and continue crafting along with us. I'll see you there.